Hello there, lovely. Good morning. It is a Tuesday, the second day of April in the year 2024. Thank you so much for joining us on Camnet TV's Breakfast Show, where we urge you, the viewer out there, to rise and thrive this particular morning. My name is Joe Smarter. And of course, before anything, our health is our wealth. Let's go straight into the health corner.
Hi, good morning, and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakubiana Mufaya. So this week we are talking about anxiety disorder, and yesterday we defined what anxiety disorder is. We say that anxiety disorder is an exaggerated fear or anxiety or worry towards a certain situation or a certain object, and this leads to abnormal behaviors. Now, today we'll talk about the types of anxiety disorders. There are some disorders that are grouped under the anxiety disorder bracket. So, anxiety disorder can be grouped into generalized anxiety disorder, where a person is having generalized symptoms, or they have anxiety towards general things that affect our lives, things that are not distressing to normal people. They get anxiety in those situations. Then we also have what we call panic attacks. Now, these panic attacks usually occur in specific situations where somebody is maybe exposed to a situation that distresses them. So they end up having this overwhelmed response to a specific task or a specific situation that they are in, and so they end up having a panic attack. Then the other disorder is what we call social anxiety disorder or social phobia. So social anxiety disorder usually comes in situations where a person is supposed to be in a social situation. So if a person is exposed to a social situation, whether it's a crowd of people, or they have to give a speech, or they don't want to socialize with other people in terms of going for a party or going for an event, a function, and they don't want to find themselves in those situations because they fear being embarrassed, not saying the right things, or just the whole situation. So they are afraid of being in those situations. So that is what we call social anxiety disorder. Then we also have what we call specific phobias, and these specific phobias can come in many different forms. There are so many phobias that people would have. So they would have fear of, for example, fear of animals, that we call zoophobia. So somebody might be scared of animals, and it can be not just a specific animal, but it can just be any animal. So they are afraid of cats, dogs, like all animals. So that is what we call zoophobia. So they can't even go to a zoo because they're afraid that maybe they might be attacked by one of the animals, or they might come into close contact, and they just have all these imaginations, and so they avoid going to the zoo or going to places where there are animals. Then there are people who are afraid of flying or using an aeroplane. There are people who are afraid of heights, people who are afraid of being in heights, like I have said. People who are afraid of heights. People are afraid of being in closed up areas. So they are afraid of being in a closed space. Maybe they are afraid that the roof might fall. There are people who are afraid of just going out, so they always want to be in their home. What we call agoraphobia, where somebody is afraid of even going to the market, or just leaving their house because they're afraid maybe they would be attacked on the way, or they would meet people and it become awkward. So there are all these specific phobias that people would have, and those are characterized under or grouped under specific phobias. So those are the main types of anxiety disorders that are there. So like I have said, is generalized anxiety disorder, panic attacks, social anxiety disorder, and also specific phobias. So we'll talk more about the symptoms of these disorders tomorrow. Make sure that you watch tomorrow and learn how these symptoms or these disorders manifest. What are the symptoms that people would have, depending on whether it's a generalized disorder or a panic attack. Sometimes the symptoms would be different, even though there is an overlap in the way they present or the symptoms that they would have. So tomorrow we'll talk about the symptoms. I do hope you learned something today. Make sure you tell your friends to watch again tomorrow. And also, if you missed any episodes, you can always catch up on my YouTube channel at Dr. Nakwe Namfire. Stay blessed and stay healthy. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much for still joining us. You are still on Camnet's Breakfast Show, where we urge you to rise and thrive this particular morning. It is a Tuesday, and we urge you to tune in because you expect nothing but the best in current affairs. We'll be having the governing United Party for National Development, Deputy Media Director Jelo Katambo, and also at exactly 8 hours, we'll be having a veteran politician, former minister, former member of parliament in the name of Honorable Gaston Chilima, who's going to join us to talk about a number of issues pertaining to the mothers of democracy, like we like to call them, the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, the MMD, as well as other pertinent national matters. You don't want to go away. You don't want to miss this. Now, for now, we go into our money markets and see how the kwacha is faring against other major convertible foreign currencies. There we go. Now, the United States dollar is buying at 24 kwacha, 66 ngwe, and selling at 25 kwacha, 15 ngwe. The euro is buying at 26 kwacha, 67 ngwe, and selling at 27 kwacha, 19 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha, 30 ngwe, and selling at 1 kwacha, 33 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 31 kwacha, 18 ngwe, and selling at 31 kwacha, 18 ngwe. And these money market updates for today are 2nd April in the year 2024 at exactly 0705. And do remember that they do vary from bureau to bureau and from bank to bank. So those were your money markets. You have seen how your Zambian kwacha is faring against other major convertible currencies. Now, for now, we go into one of the stories that has to do with load shedding. Do you have power in your area? Are you in Zanimone West? Are you in Lusaka West? Are you in Bowling? Are you in Lusaka Central? When we talk about Lusaka Central, obviously we're talking about Rhodes Park, North Mid. We're also talking about Pamosi area, or if you like, yes, Pamosi area. We come this side, Bowlen. That's the area we're talking about, Kablonga Woodlands. Do you have power? Challenge as well, Chalala. Do you have power? Chairman as well, Lai, do you have power? How are you adapting to the current load shedding schedule that was released yesterday? It wasn't Fool's Day. As you might be aware that normally April 1st it is Fool's Day world over, but it wasn't Fool's Day. It was the real load shedding schedule where 4 hours have been split. The 8-hour schedule has been split, so you have 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening, 4 hours during the day, 4 hours later at night. So how are you finding this particular load shedding schedule that ZESCO has implemented? But we went around yesterday, and of course our capable reporters brought us this particular report regarding your responses or expectations, you, the viewers, the residents of Lusaka out there. Now this particular story reads, some Lusaka residents have welcomed the new load shedding schedule of 8 hours divided in 2 phases of 4 hours a day, citing its convenient compared to the previous uninterrupted 8-hour schedule. Chanda Mwango followed in this report. Let's take a look.
Following persistent outcries from the public of the uninterrupted 8-hour load shedding schedule, ZESCO Limited has, effective today, 1st March 2024, commenced a 2-phase load shedding schedule, reducing the daily power outage to 4 hours a day. This development, which seemingly provides relief to small businesses whose operations are reliant on electricity, has been received with mixed response, with some expressing relief while others remain dissatisfied. In an interview with Camnet News, Patrick Nyangulu, a popcorn trader, is one of the individuals who are delighted with the newly implemented schedule, emphasizing its positive impact on his business. Maggie Chilufya, a teller, has equally commended government for responding to their plight in due course.
So, I mean, after it is 4 hours, I think he and Kalako will, but it's a desire to yakaenda na customers wakabwera sibazambo shata maniki kuti ati baenda vaenderera chifika kubema light. I'm sure that one is
nisonzera ku set market malaiti munga yemene mwakambati kazienda 4 hours yankalako bwino at least kuchila 8 hours. Sometimes kwina nguma ngalati malaiti yaenda kuseni kufikira ku 22 hours ndiye pea bwana chibantu sibaza sebenza bajame bashita masaluni bashita chani, but yemwe kamba 4 hours iliko better cause bazankala kona ka opportunity ko sebenza ko time bazi that time ya so nshibana kushabwanja ya bwera.
However, Roy Zimba, a ward of Kanyama compound in Lusaka, has bemoaned the schedule, citing the threat it poses to the productivity of his business.
Iyo schedule baleta kweyanywa ifuta tuwana twikana kaido ya mawazi yakula enderamu yarasangwa ati twara esarika umwine nifwe muri amayuthi muri abakaramba tawabuta bakwete empia kushani basangira mu empia umwe so iri ino badi balandira tyakura ya 8 hours ingaya echunguro yabwera maybe ngishita yabwerera mu 50 then at least batpera ku time uruchelo until kuma 18 hours airport sangwa kwa empia tubizinga maraiti turepange mpando bali abakaramba bapusana baresho keroko so tureromba kubuteko bawe chefe iri ine 8 hours yaya ingabutu yabwera uruchelo twabomba
Seju ine aliko ya 8 hours ilifebwi kuchiroko ati yari ya 3 times in a day, which means ama hours ifo babombera kuno ma hours ya kubomba yarache so ine fe ya efo yari akari alifebwi.
Meanwhile, energy expert engineer Boniface Zulu says the newly implemented schedule provides a relief to the economy as it will boost productivity of small medium enterprises, SMEs.
Actually a very good initiative because it alleviates the pain that ordinary Zambians were faced with of the 8 hours debt sharing, which of course came into conflict with their productivity, especially within the CBD places such as markets were also affected, which also affected productivity. So it helped in terms of them profiting or getting something out of the day, because if they are scheduled 4 hours in the morning, they have the afternoon to recuperate and also ensure that they go on with their normal day-to-day activities.
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Okay, thank you so much for still joining us on Camnet's breakfast show this particular morning, where we're urging you to rise and thrive. It is a Tuesday, the second day of April in the year 2024, and of course this is a new month and we have to start it with energy and vigor. Now it's good to know that Henry is tuned in. That's one of our viewers there. Henry, thank you so much for making this a wonderful decision. And I received a call early in the morning from one of our viewers from Luapula, Mr. Chama, popularly known as Shukulu. Thank you so much for that particular call, Shukulu. And Mr. Boyd is also tuned in. Chanda Pokochomwale is also tuned in. Thank you so much. Now, like I said, that we'll be joined by the governing United Party for National Development Deputy Media Director. Now, he is here on set and he joins me to discuss pertinent national matters. Mr. Katambo, good to see you and welcome.
Thanks, Joe. It's been long.
It's been long. How's the ruling party?
The ruling party is doing fine.
Okay.
We are getting there. We are understanding the ropes of governance.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not been an easy one, but we're getting there.
Honeymoon is over?
It was over immediately we got into power.
Okay,
yes,
fantastic. Now, Mr. Katambo, mixed reactions from members of the public regarding load shedding. Let's begin with the issue of load shedding.
Well, we agree with you, and we are very cognizant of the fact that the country is grappling with a lot of load shedding.
Okay.
And this, in one way or another, is affecting especially the SME business. But as a government, I think, is not just watching.
Okay.
Measures are being put in place. We all understand that this year's load shedding is not man-made load shedding. This is more of a natural phenomenon because of the El Nino, which has affected the rains. As you are aware that 80% of, almost 80% of our electricity is hydro-generated. And this definitely has affected most of our major rivers, that is the Zambezi and Kafue River, which are the major generating points. These have been affected. So we understand the situation that is in the country, and like the ZESCO managing director said last time, measures are being put, but it's also beyond them. Okay, it's also beyond them, but so far, I think we are told that certain exports are being cancelled so that we concentrate on local consumption. I think that is a measure that the government is putting in, and we are also told that they are supposed to start importing electricity from Mozambique.
Okay.
I think that is also another welcome measure in the right direction. We are hoping that these other greenfield generation, these other greenfield energy productions can come on board quickly. That is the solar system and the others. We are hoping that they can come on board quickly so that this matter can be addressed once and for all. Otherwise, we are very worried as well over what is happening in terms of electricity.
Okay. Now, that aside, let's move to one interesting issue that took place a fortnight ago. And we're talking about the debt restructuring deal. It has happened. What next for Zambians? What next for Zambia as a country? Mr. Katam.
What's next for Zambia? We, as a party, would want to thank and commend the government, the President Hakainde Hichilema, Minister of Finance, and his negotiating team for successfully managing to negotiate not only the bilateral bond, but including the Euro bond. It has not been an easy thing to negotiate, but we are happy that finally it has come to pass. Okay. Now, as you heard from the Minister of Finance, this now gives us enough headroom, gives us enough breathing space for us to look at other social sectors. You see, like the President said, we were spending more than $700 million annually to pay for our debts. Now, that is money that should have gone towards other social sectors. That is the money that should have gone towards the agriculture sector, the health sector, and the education sector. But this is the money that we were paying at. So it means that as a country, we were spending so much money on paying debts as compared to money that was going towards the social sector and other development. Now, with this issue now that has happened, where the debtors have, the creditors have agreed to give us a bit of space. You see, this year, because of having defaulted in 2020, we were supposed to have paid $4.9 billion. Where were we going to get that money? That was too much. It is almost 3/4 of our national budget. Okay. Where are we going to get that money? But now that we have been given the headroom, we are saying, can we use this money towards social sectors? We are going to use this money towards social sectors. But like it has been indicated, this is not time for honeymoon. Yes, we have been given a headroom. Yes, we have been given a chance to breathe and to think outside the box. But we are saying this is not time for honeymoon. Okay. We have got more work now, because remember, we are supposed to pay the 750 million euro bond in 2033. So that money needs to be there by 2033. So how do we do it? We need to start growing the economy. We have been given a chance to grow the economy without thinking about paying debt. Okay, we turn all the money towards the growth of the economy. And we have to do that before 2033, when we are supposed to pay the first euro bond. I think we have got a capable team. Government is capable of doing that. All we need is everybody, you and me, and all the viewers, to be concerned and get busy to work towards the growth of this economy. We need a sustainable economy by that period, so that we can easily pay back. We do not want to be found wanting again in 2033. Okay. So as a party, we are very much happy with the measures that the government, we are looking forward to seeing what measures the government is putting in place to ensure that the sustainability, the growth of the economy is sustained, so that we do not find ourselves defaulting again in 2033. Because it would be a bad idea to default in 2033, just like we defaulted in 2020. We were a laughing stock. We don't want to become a laughing stock for the second time. So we are hoping that the government is putting in enough measures to ensure that the economy grows at a good rate, sustainably, with enough resources at its disposal. Okay.
Now, Mr. Katam, what sectors of the economy is your party in government concentrating on to make sure that the Zambian economy grows at a rapid rate, so that come 2033, Zambia will be able to pay that particular date to its creditors? What sectors of the economy are you looking at?
Definitely, Joe, we are the sectors that we know that can give us quick returns. We are talking about the agriculture sector, the energy sector, the mining sector, and of course the manufacturing sector, plus the tourism sector. So if we can put our monies where we know that we are going to have returns, these are the agriculture sector. With the mining sector, we are talking about increasing production, mining copper production to about 3 million metric tons by 2030. If that can be done, then we will know that we have got enough money to pay back, to clear the credit. If we can push our resources into the agriculture sector, as a party, we are anchored on agriculture, energy, mining, and tourism. If we can put our monies where our mouths are, the four sectors, we are very sure that come 2033, we will not be crying about having defaulted. We would have grown the economy. It is easy to grow an economy through using the agriculture sector, because that is a production area. We need to put money where we can produce. Of late, we have been a consumption country. That's why it has been difficult for us to sustain the economy. But we are saying, can we put money where there is production? In agriculture, there is good production. If we all go and grow maize, grow enough wheat, grow enough soybeans, and any other crop, we are saying, let us diversify. We are going to get enough money. We have got a very big yawning market in Central Africa. We have got more than 56 million people that need our food in Congo, and more than 50 million that need our food in Angola and other countries. So if we can, each one of us can put our minds together, we move forward, we move towards that direction, we all go. We all do our part in the agriculture sector. We all do our part in the livestock sector. We are sure that Zambia's GDP will grow, And Zambia will have enough money to support itself and support the issue of paying back to the creditors. We have got enough sunlight in Zambia. We can produce enough power using solar power and export to the rest of our neighbors. That will give us enough money that can sustain this economy. We have got enough animals. What measures are we putting in place to ensure that the tourism sector starts to blossom and makes enough money that will sustain our GDP? What is the GDP contribution of the tourism sector? Is it enough for now? No. Let us make sure that we grow the tourism sector to a level where it can support the growth of this economy. The mining sector, like we have said, 3 million metric tons by 2030. I think that is
that feasible?
It is feasible. It is feasible. Look at the big mines that are coming on board. If we have more Mopani, like it is now, we have Mopani coming back. We have KCM, which is likely to come back anytime this year. We have Lumwana and FQM. All these big mines, once they come on board and start producing enough at their fullest capacity, it is very possible to produce the 3 million metric tons. We have got the cobalt mine that is coming up in Chidavombe. The IRH has also said they are interested in Lubambe mine. So all these big mines, once they come on board, it is possible for us to have the 3 million metric tons by 2030. Enough money, enough revenue to give us the money to pay back our first tranche of the credit. I think we are on course. If we do that, then we will be on course. But if we fail at that score, then there will be a problem. But we need to make sure that all resources are pulled and pushed towards the economic sectors.
Okay. Now you have mentioned 4 key sectors. Let's zero in on the mining sector. There have been concerns that Zambia, through successful governments, has been getting raw deals from the mining sector. You are aware of this, Mr. Katambo. What makes it different now that the UPND is in charge of governing the affairs of this country, including those of the mines? Let's look at the Mopani deal. Others are skeptical about this particular deal. What's your standing point coming from the party?
I will not speak as government because government has got its own spokesperson. But from our own perspective as a party, we feel government has put enough measures that to see us receive enough from the mining sector. We all know that the mining sector is the biggest contributor towards our GDP, but its contribution has not been has been. So what we are saying now is, look, the government has, in the first place, assigned SI, it must be SI 55, which allows all mining companies, once they sell their products, to bring back the money into the country. It should be at a local banking, in their local bank account. You see, what used to happen in the past was that a mine would sell its copper, and what comes back are just small taxes and maybe money for salaries, which was making it difficult for us to keep or grow the economy using the mining sector. But now with the newly introduced SI, it will be possible for us to keep the money and account for every coin that our copper is sold at. And then if you look at the issue of Mopani, we have, remember that in most cases, in most of these mining companies, we used to have less than 20% shareholding. But now we are talking about 49% shareholding, meaning that we are now part of the planning process. We are now part of the management process of that mine. I think that gives us enough leverage to decide how the money is supposed to be spent. Yes. So in terms of the mining sector, we are seeing it growing and growing and growing, and it will contribute to the country's GDP enormously than it was in the past.
Okay, fantastic. Now let's move on. Key 4 sectors that you mentioned. Let's zero in on agriculture. There is a concern, and I'm aware you know about this particular concern, that Millie Meal is fetching at a higher price, and also there is a concern that why are we not taking advantage of the market that lies in the Congo, in Malawi, in Mozambique, in Angola, of our neighboring countries, looking for our grain, looking for our Millie Meal. But first things first, let's look at the price of mealie meal. Mr. Katambo, how are you addressing this particular issue as a party in government?
Yeah, I know that is again a government policy issue. But from our perspective, like I have said, our party is anchored on agriculture. Our president is a well-known agriculturalist. And talking about the issues of mealie meal, this is an issue that we are aware that the price of mealie meal is quite high. At almost 340, 350,000, 350 kwacha in some areas where I'm still remembering the 1,000 years. What I think the government is doing is that if you look at our pronouncements, especially last year, from the time government came into, the UPND came into government, we have been saying, let us increase production. Okay. There has been no investment in the agriculture sector. Okay. You and I know that maybe since the days of KK, there has been no investment in the agriculture sector. We have allowed agriculture to become a business as usual, where people could make their own prices. But now we are saying, let us grow the agriculture sector. Let it become a business, a viable business. Most people had even stopped growing maize, because they didn't find it as a viable business. The cost of production in maize production is usually higher than the returns. So people had left the business of agriculture, especially maize growing, for other ventures. Most of our people ran away from the villages, came into town. So meaning that there was a lot of land that was yawning in the villages. People were just wanting to consume in town. We are saying, can we go back to production? Okay. Let us increase on production. Once we increase on production, we are going to have enough maize on the market. Okay. And once we have enough maize on the market, we are going to have enough. It's an issue of the law of supply and demand. Do we have enough maize against enough the demand, which is no. Okay. We don't have enough.
So we can meet the external demand from the external demand from our neighboring countries. We can't meet that demand from the Congo, from Malawi, from Mozambique.
No, we can't meet.
Okay.
Yes. So we are competing here. There's competing demand for local consumption and competing demand for export. Now, just imagine that you know that there is more money in the export market. If you are selling your bag of mealie meal to Congo, we are told it's going at about 800 kwacha. So the millers would rather sell this mealie meal to Congo as compared to selling it locally, where it is fetching at 250, 300 kwacha. Okay. So now that is creating an artificial shortage back home here. And now when there's an artificial shortage, what happens? The millers push the prices up because there's now demand with the short supply. Now what we are saying is we need everybody, we need a lot of production so that we can manage the external consumption versus the internal consumption. Once that is done, when you have a 1 hectare of land where you grow your maize, definitely you know that you can calculate for yourself. Like for me, I know that at the end of the year, I use at least 12 to 50 kg bags of maize. I would have already calculated. Okay. So I will not need to go to a milling company to go and get or to go and buy milling. I have already got my own maize. So if all of us can have at least a hectare, if 1 million hectares can be planted in this country, then we know that we would have enough maize and enough for local consumption plus external consumption. ZNS, government has pushed in ZNS and the Zambia Collection Services. Or let me just say all the defense wings of this country are now advised to plant enough, to go into farming. This will give us enough maize, enough reserves in terms of FRA. And this, you will see the cushioning of the price of mealie meal going down. We were ready for that. I think we had done that. The president has preached a lot about production last year. But because of the El Nino, if you look, most people this year had planted a lot of maize. The price of maize is good. 280, we're expecting it this year to have even gone further than above that. The price of maize was very good as compared to other crops. So most people had come on board and most people had heeded to calls by the government to get back to the land and produce maize. But unfortunately, El Nino was not our colleague. El Nino has hampered all the efforts that our farmers had put in. There was going to be serious bumper harvest this year if the rains did not disappoint. And you would have seen the cost of milling drastically reduce because we would have had a lot of maize. And a lot of farmers would have managed to export maize to the outside market. But El Nino has done what it could do. But we are sure that come next year, with good rains and good policies that the government is putting in place, we are sure that going forward we are going to have a lot of maize and the price of milling will drastically reduce. 230, it's okay. ZNS is doing what it can to supplement that part. But we are hoping that come next year, there will be more maize on the market and there will be more milling on the market, both for local and export. So government is not sitting idle. Government is working at making sure that the cost of minimum gets down. It will not get to the 50 kwacha that everyone is talking about because it's.
I was about to come to that.
It's unrealistic.
Yes, I was about to come to 50 kwacha.
It is unrealistic. You and me know that 50 kwacha is unrealistic and it can't happen.
But you told the Zambian people.
We told the Zambian people that it would get to that, looking at the production levels. Because we were saying, let's get into the market, let's produce enough maize, and let's make sure that everybody has enough maize. Okay? And definitely, Joe, if you have got 50 bags of maize, when you go to grind, I just go and grind my maize. I don't need to go and buy milling from a shop. Okay, I grind my maize. How much do I spend on grinding my maize? It's less than 50 kwacha. So that is where the 50 kwacha comes in. You produce enough maize and you go and grind it. It will be less than 50 kwacha.
Okay, now Mr. Katambo, what incentives are you giving to the farmers amidst El Nino, the effects of El Nino, and of course we do have drought in most parts of the country. So what incentives are you giving to the farmers or somebody who has expressed interest in farming? What incentives are there? Question them.
You have heard even during the Youth Day celebrations in Chipata, the president was categorical. All agriculture equipment have been zero rated.
Okay.
So you are not paying in duty for bringing a tractor into the country. Okay. You are not paying anything for bringing a tractor for production. Of course, a tractor is always for production. You cannot bring a tractor and start using it for Yango. No. You always use it for production. So all those things have been zero rated. The plows and everything else has been zero rated. That is an incentive to the farmer. The irrigation equipment are being zero rated. Okay, so we are advising, we are encouraging farmers, including small scale farmers, to go the irrigation way. The president has said we are going to realign this year's national budget in view of the drought. I was in Mumbwa 2 weeks ago. The Mumbwa CDF committee has said, okay, fine, for this year, we want to do a lot of projects. We are going to spend at least about 60-70% of CDF towards irrigation community water projects. So that is the putting up of irrigation projects and other communal incentives that have to deal with the water.
Under CDF?
Under CDF.
Okay.
We have got other facilities under the Ministry of Agriculture. The president has said 1 hectare per farmer, give them irrigation, give them a loan for irrigation facilities. Okay. So if you have got a hectare, get to the Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture will advise on what kind of irrigation system you need and what loan they can offer to you, so that each one of us is busy growing maize. 3-4 weeks ago, or is it? Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, I was in Itej. There's a chief who has given hectares to every village along the Kafue River.
Okay.
So that they can do what? They can do winter maize production, and they are saying they are going to produce twice. They are going to harvest in July, and they will harvest again in October. Those are incentives to make sure that the country does not go hungry. To make sure that, because once that maize is grown in Itej, the maize that is going to be grown along that river bank is enough to feed the entire Itej and the entire Namwala. Okay, so already that has been sorted out. How many chiefs, how many villages do we have along the Kafue River? We have got plenty of them. So the issue here is government is saying, let us create buffer zones along rivers, so that those buffer zones are used purely for agriculture production, maize production. We are saying maize production for now, but come next year when all goes back to normal, we are going to encourage the growing of other crops, diversified crops, millet and everything else. But for now, we're saying, all the buffer zones along the Kafue, along the Zambezi River, along Chambeshi River, and any other river in the country, let us go into irrigation farming so that we can have enough production for this year, we can have enough maize for this country. So a lot of incentives are being put in place for all those that are out there in rural areas and everywhere else. Get to your Ministry of Agriculture officers, get to your camp extension officers, get to your district agriculture officers, and get more information. There are services for everyone, not only commercial farmers, but rural, small-scale farmers who are willing and ready to grow maize under winter production.
Okay. So as a party, because I have heard concerns from members of the public that it's the information isn't that much out there disseminated, and I must put it on you, media director, that there's a concern out there when it comes to information dissemination. Now, when it comes to agricultural loans, as a party, how are you helping members of the public to access this information?
As a party, I'm quite cognizant of that argument on the streets that information dissemination is not very good, of which we agree. But this year, what we have decided to do with the teams that is led by Honorable Konaya Thumeto as chairperson for publicity and information, as well as the government communication wings. For us as a party, we are going to use our structures. Okay. We have got enough information persons across the country. So those are the people that we are going to use to disseminate the information to the last person. We have got an IPS, information and publicity secretary, as low as the branch level. So we are now moving using the bottom and top approach, where we are going to get the information, send it through all the structures to the last structure of the party, so that these now structures, because these are the ones that are in touch with the people, and these are the people that will now disseminate the information to the rest of the people, the citizens, that there is this, can we move in, there is this agriculture loan, can we move in, there is this facility that needs to be exploited, can we move in? We are trying to populate all government policies. You heard when the president was officially opening our headquarters, the Anderson Mazoka house, he expressed the same concern that you're expressing about information dissemination.
So it is a genuine concern.
It is a genuine concern about information dissemination. But this year, we are hoping that the status quo would change. We are hoping that we will provide more information to our people through our structures. We will get the information from the government and take it to the structures, and vice versa. The structures will give us the feedback. Okay, so we will take the information from the government to the structures. The lowest organ of the party will give us feedback through the rest of the structures back to us, and will feed the government what is happening on the ground. We are hoping that that methodology will work and will provide the people with enough information, especially with regards to agriculture loans, because that is our core business this year. Agriculture in response to the El Nino outbreak.
Okay. Now, the Minister of Mines has been quoted in one of the daily tabloids this morning, saying that the results of the Mopani deal will only be seen in 2027 or 2028. Mr. Katambo, surely the Zambian people want immediate results looking at the current economic situation. Why should we wait for 2027, 2028?
I will not respond on behalf of the Ministry of Mines, like I indicated. I'm not here as the...
Okay, from the party's point of view.
From the party perspective and from what we have been briefed, you see, Mopani mine was gone. Let's just be sincere with each other. Mopani mine was gone. At its peak, it was doing 230,000 metric tons. By the time the former government grabbed it from the Grencos and started running it, by this year, production had reduced to less than 65,000 metric tons. Okay. Now, of that 65,000 metric tons, at one point when copper was going at about 8,500 per ton, are you aware that $3,000 of that 8,500 was going towards Grenco? It was not coming. It was not part of production for Mopani mine. It was going towards Grenco. So now, it meant that there was no production, there was no recapitalization into Mopani. What we are saying is, Mopani now needs to start growing its production. And that is not an overnight job. You cannot grow production, copper production, to 250,000 within a week or within a year, then you'll be cheating yourself. Because now Mopani, the equity partners have to come in, bring in more machinery, pump in more money towards production. That doesn't happen within a year.
Okay.
So we are saying it is expected that by 2027, Mopani production would have gone back to where it belongs, or more than 300,000 metric tons.
Okay.
But what we are happy with now, as a party, and I think as the people of the Copper Belt, what they are happy with is the fact that jobs have been created.
How many jobs are we looking at,
We are looking at direct jobs of more than 2,000.
Of more than 2,000?
More than 2,000 direct jobs. Now, you and I know that in Zambia, each family, we just put at 5. So we are talking about indirect jobs of more than 12,000. Okay. Now, that is not small money. The contractors are on the ground. The suppliers are getting what belongs to them. The workers, the general workers are getting, the miners are getting what belongs to them. Okay? So it means that the economy of the Copper Belt, as we wait for the national economy to grow, to be sustained by copper production from Mopani, the economy of the Copper Belt itself is growing. Because there is now more money in circulation. The GDP of the Copper Belt will be higher than it is now. And that is what is everybody's concern. The issues of growing of copper to those 300,000 metric tons, the enjoyment of the benefits of Mopani coming in 2027, 2028, that is what everyone is looking forward to. But for now, we are saying let our people on the Copper Belt have enough disposable income. Let them take the children to school. Let them do business ventures. Because look, when Mopani miners have got money, it means that the marketeer in Mufulira, the marketeer in Kitwe, who have enough money at their disposal. And that, for now, is our concern. And that is what we told the people of Kitwe. That is what we told the people of Mufulira when we were doing our campaigns. And we are hoping that very soon, KCM will come on board. And once KCM comes on board, it means that the entire mining towns of the Copper Belt will have enough disposable income. And the people of the Copper Belt will be excited. I'll ask you this question, Joe. Have you heard anybody from the Copper Belt complaining about Mopani? From the time it was the equity partner, from the time that handover was done.
Anyone from the Copper Belt?
Complaining about Mopani. I think there is joy on the Copper Belt. And that is our appreciation. The people that are complaining about Mopani are in Lusaka. They are not the direct beneficiaries of Mopani. The direct beneficiaries of Mopani mine are excited about it all. So that is our concern. As long as the people of the Copper Belt are happy, we are happy as a party.
Okay. Mr. Katambo, moving on, let's talk about you stabilizing the Zambian economy. And when I talk about stabilizing the Zambian economy, what measures are being put in place? For instance, when we talk about the Kwacha's performance against other major convertible currencies, what measures is the Ministry of Finance, Bank of Zambia, government, your party in government, putting in place to make sure that it performs favorably and we see a trickle-down effect to that ordinary citizen out there in Zambia?
The answer is simple. Comment is production. Let's just produce.
So we're going to production
all the sectors,
as a country?
Once all sectors are producing at full throttle, this issue of the Kwacha fluctuating here and there won't be an issue. Because, look, we don't have enough foreign exchange in the country. Because we're not producing, we're just consuming. Every day you see people getting on a plane going to South Africa. They're going to order. And they're using dollars from here. They're not using Kwacha when they get to South Africa. Every day you get to the airport at 14 hours or 14:30, you're going to see a flight coming from China. People are going to do some orders. They're going to buy things. All that money is going out. There's no money that is coming in. So as a country, we need to change the way we do business. Let's concentrate on production. If we can produce more maize, we can produce more wheat, we can produce more the soybeans. We enhance our production in our mining sector. We enhance our tourism facilities. We have got more people coming into Zambia to come and see our animals. Then we are saying there will be more dollars. And once there is a plenty of dollars on the market, the Kwacha become bullish. I think you know that. But as it is now, we are a consumer, meaning that every dollar that is in the country is going out. So it is difficult to maintain a strong currency in the midst of when you are just an import country.
Okay.
So we need to become an export country. Then you see that all that is going to be done. So as a government, as a party, we are saying let everybody get into production. If you have got to take a small farm, put animals there, grow maize, grow wheat, grow anything, that will give you enough money, including forex.
Okay. Now, Mr. Katambo, the youth make up the majority of this country's population. What opportunities is your party in government providing to young people out there?
Well, as a government, as a party in government, we have introduced quite a number of facilities to help our youth. We still go back to our flagship country. Because no matter what we do, CDF is our flagship country. And the CDF has a component that deals basically with the youth. They have, you see, we have had a curriculum that promotes white collar jobs.
Okay.
Now, it's not everybody. We don't have enough industry that can support white collar jobs. It's either you're in government or you're on the streets. Now, we are saying, what do we do? We have managed to secure jobs for teachers, health workers, and agriculturists. But what do we do with those people that might not have the skill, might not be teachers, and might not be health practitioners? Let's get them to do skills programs. Get them to do bricklaying. Okay? Get them to do all these other carpentry and the like. And the government is sponsoring those people, those youths, to go and do skills development courses. Once that is done, you and I will not have to go somewhere else to go. Our youths within the compounds will be able to build my house. That is a job I have given him. Okay? The youths will be able to do fabrication. That is a job. So a youth who is doing fabrication will employ 2 or 3 other youths. I think we would have created some sustainable jobs for youths. So there are a lot of these other facilities. We have got the Ministry of SME through CEC. They are also bringing on board a lot of facilities. I know it has been a bit slow, but we will get there. I think the economy itself is not strong enough to support a lot of such programs. But with the restructuring, we are expecting that we are going to have a little more money that will support such SME projects, such SME programs, such youth development, skills development programs. And you are going to see that a lot of youths, we are going to move a lot of youth from the streets. There are a lot of youth from the streets. In the process, we have given birth to junkies, the ones you call junkies. We need to move all those people into skills development programs so that we have a country that stands strong on an SME base. And that is our core, that let this country be on an SME domiciled country. There's no country in the world that has developed through formal jobs. All the countries that have developed in this world have developed through SMEs. And as a country, as Zambia, we are also moving towards that direction. And as a party, that is one of our manifestos. SME development is our key manifesto. And we need to make sure that we achieve that, and that is developed to its fullest. We might be slow, but we will get there.
Okay. Now, let me put you on the spotlight, Mr. Katambo, since you are already here. Now, over the weekend, you know, the country, the world was on an Easter holiday. And obviously, you know, when there's an Easter holiday, the church takes center stage. Now, there are some remarks coming from some sections of society, particularly some clergymen who are purportedly endorsing street vending. How does this sit with you?
We have got a good relationship with the clergy.
Okay.
Our relationship with the clergy from the time now in the opposition up to now is very good.
Okay.
And we have also made a position that we will not encourage street vending because of the implications that come with it. We have just been battling with the issues of cholera. Now, if there are some clergy that are propagating the idea of street vending, as a party, we don't think it's the right direction. If the clergy have got issues, they can still get back to the party.
Are you a listening party?
We can sit down with them.
Do you have an open door policy?
A very wide open policy.
Are you accommodative?
Let them come today. They will meet the secretary.
Okay.
We are very accommodative.
How about if they want to meet the president?
Well, that now becomes a government issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
But from the party's
From
point
the
of
party
view?
point of view, we are very accommodative. They
Okay.
can come today. We can make an appointment. We can discuss what are their grey areas. Okay. What are their grey areas? Why are they propagating for street vending? We can discuss. We have always discussed.
Okay.
We have never stopped discussing.
So you do have an open door policy as
We
a
are
party?
calling on the clergy. If they've got any issues that are related to governance, we have got a committee within the party that deals with the religious issues.
Okay.
So they are free to come and discuss those issues with their fellow clergy in the party.
Okay.
Otherwise, we as a party, we do not support street vending because of its diverse effects on the economy, on the social the sectors, on the social economy, and just on the health of the nation as a whole. So let's sit down, let's look at each other eye to eye, let's discuss. Okay? Let's hear why the clergy is saying this street vending be allowed. And then we'll give them our views. And
Okay.
together we'll come up with one solution. But this issue of the other one is talking in that corner, the other one is talking in that corner, is not providing solutions. Let's sit down. If Joe has got a concern against me, can we sit down and talk?
Okay.
We can have a cup of tea. We can discuss. Okay? Then we can agree to disagree or agree to agree.
Okay.
We work out just like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Katambo, I know we're beginning to wind up. You are looking at your watch there, but let me bring in the issue of corruption. The fight against corruption under your administration. How do you rate it? I know it's hard for somebody to rate their own household or their own bedroom, but how do you rate your fight against corruption as a party in government? Because there have been concerns that we haven't seen meaningful, convincing convictions coming through under this particular administration of the UPND, your party.
In terms of the fight against corruption, you see, corruption fight is not an easy fight.
Okay.
Corruption happens between you and me. It doesn't. You don't need to broadcast corruption.
Okay.
It happens in secrecy. So it's not something that is easy to detect. Okay. In talking about convictions, yes, we agree with you. We agree with the citizens. There hasn't been too much convictions, and as a party, we are also concerned that there are so many people that are still moving the streets 3 years after their court cases started. But you and I have heard the government saying they have just signed the new SI,
Okay.
which will convict people within 5 months. And that is our battle. We are hoping that works so that we can move from this song of corruption and everything. Let people know that once you tamper with public resources, you're going to be arrested or you're going to be convicted.
But Mr. Katambo, just there, this particular SI is not being used as a whip for political witch hunt.
No.
Or to punish your political opponents.
No.
Just clarify on that.
It's being used to clamp down on corruption, whether it is political corruption or it is for people that were in public service or as long as it's corruption, SEC will use that. We have got people that are not politicians, but they are appearing in court.
Okay.
So that is not witch hunt. We are trying to make sure that we rid this country of any form of corruption. And that is not just for past corruption, including present day corruption. If you are aware of any minister who is corrupt under the new Donald administration, report to SEC.
Okay.
And SEC will move in. We have seen people that are being investigated. Current former ministers, public service workers, they are being investigated for corruption. If the SEC finds you with a prima facie, they'll take you in. They'll take you to court, and you have to prove yourself, whether you are a serving minister or you are not a serving minister.
Okay.
So, but there's been this notion to say, no, the UPND is only prosecuting former ministers. No.
That's a perception.
Because you are not reporting.
That's a perception.
You report to SEC. If you know any minister who is corrupt now, report to SEC.
Under this administration.
Under this administration, report to SEC. If you can't, report to the party. The party will take it up. Because as a party, we are thriving on a zero corruption tolerance.
Okay.
Yes. So if you know of anybody who is corrupt, come to the party. will not blow the whistle. No, you will remain a whistleblower. Come to the party and say, Minister so and so, so and so, PS so and so, so and so is corrupt, and here is the evidence. Director so and so, so and so is corrupt, here is the evidence.
Okay.
Come with evidence.
Okay.
Don't just come with yourself. No. Otherwise,
I'm leaving it to the viewers out there. Please, you can come through and give your submission. I have Mr. Jelo Katambo here. He is the UPND Deputy Media Director, and we're discussing national matters, particularly getting the perspective of the party in power. You can come through and ask any question, but pertaining to what we have discussed or highlighted on this particular program as I'm hosting him. Please feel free to come through. If you have any reports of reporting somebody, he is the right man here. He has you can go through the channels of the party, and obviously if you do have a question, you'll be able to clarify here as the Deputy Media Director for the governing party. Mr. Katambo, let's move on and begin to look at, away from the corruption fight, no, still on the corruption fight, the ACC board chairperson was quoted in one of the daily tabloids saying that forfeiture of property is not enough. People should be able to save time. 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, they should be able to save time. What's your view as a party on that particular observation from the ACC board chairperson, Councillor Musamui?
I agree with him that forfeiture of property is not enough.
Okay.
But you and I know that. We arrest you, we charge you, we convict you, and then what? Of what benefit is it to the public?
To deter would be offenders, Mr.
If I come to you, Mr. Joe, and I tell you that, look, this property that you have was ill-gotten, and I'm getting all of it. In the meantime, I'm throwing you inside for 3 years. Is that not enough punishment?
It's fair.
I think we have seen people that have had their property forfeited to the state and are spending 3-4 years in prison. Of course, others are out on bail, appeal pending bail. Okay, that is enough. I don't think we are, as government, is lacking in that regard. I'm not aware of anybody whose property was just forfeited. Okay, we are aware of Faith, but Faith is still having other cases in court.
Okay.
Okay. It was necessary that we get what belongs to the public. The public needs to get the money that belongs to the public needs to go back to the public. And the president has said this over and over. We are going to get the money that belongs to the public from you and give back the owners. So we are giving back the owners. There are a lot of properties that so far have been forfeited back to the public. Now we are just waiting for the government to tell us how those properties are going to be used. If they are going to be sold off or they are going to be used as rentals or whatever, we are waiting for the government to tell us. Okay? We have got the former police deputy IG. She is saving, although she's out on bail, but she is saving. Her things, with the DPP has applied that her things be forfeited to the state. She would have lost. She would go on the stones. She would not have means of survival. And people should know that once you steal what does not belong to you, you get what belongs to the public. When we come in to grab everything, the luxury that you once enjoyed will no longer be a part of you. So if you want to continue enjoying the luxuries of having so many properties, so many buses, buy them through civil means. Do not dip your fingers in what does not belong to you. Do not dip your fingers in public resources, because once that is discovered, they will come and grab everything that you bought, even that which you bought using your own genuinely acquired resources. There's somebody who is appearing in court now. They have frozen all his accounts, including his farm, which he bought before he went into public service. But the SEC is saying this farm was improved when you became a public service worker. Is that fair? Are you happy that they should grab even that house you built when you were still on the streets? Because you used other means to improve your house. You are now having to cry. Okay? You are now being made to pay for something that you acquired genuinely, because along the way you became a problem.
Okay.
So we shall arrest you, you will be detained, you will be convicted, and your property will be forfeited to the state. Therefore, the state needs that money which you had dubiously acquired. So we as a state, as a party, we are supporting the government's move using the new charge they are using.
Okay.
Proceeds of crime. We are happy with that because you know that in the past, most people were going scot-free. Okay, they would be arrested, detained, convicted for 3 years. You know, they have left the property. They are using the same property to hire lawyers. But that is, we are saying no. If you don't have the money, which you generally acquired, we are not going to allow you to use the public resources to again defend yourself for a theft of public resources.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Katambo, as we conclude this session of the interview, let me find out from you. The political calendar tells me that the UPND is only remaining with 1 year, 6 months in office for them to end their mandate, your party, according to your political calendar. Now, why should the Zambian people trust you? Why should the Zambian people continue hoping in you that you are going to fulfill all your campaign promises as a party and improve their lives? Why should they, 1 year, 6 months later, go to the ballot and vote for the UPND and give you a second mandate? Why should the Zambian people be hopeful that the UPND comes with a messiah to save them from the economic wallows they are currently going through?
I think from our perspective as a party, we have done what is humanly possible.
Okay.
We leave everything to God.
Okay.
I think when we came into power, I don't know which promise we have not yet fulfilled, other than the one we are grappling with, the cost of living.
Okay.
Okay? We promised free education, and we have provided that. We promised that there's going to be money, especially in rural areas, and we are doing that. Go to the rural areas and see how much work is going on.
Okay.
There's a lot of construction going on in the areas. The president said we are going to get money from Lusaka and take it to the rural areas, and we have done that through CDF. So, when in his first address to Parliament, the president said, and I quote, "The problem is bigger than we imagined."
Okay.
So we are still we are laying a strong foundation. We are getting a country that was in ICU. You and I know that if you are in ICU, from ICU, you don't go to the general wards. You have to be put in a side ward so that you recover before you are taken to general ward. Otherwise, they'll bring you back to ICU immediately.
Okay.
We are moving a country from ICU. We are now in the side wards. The country is recovering from the mismanagement. We had nothing.
Okay.
There was literally nothing in the economy. The president said the country, the treasury is broke. And he meant there was no money in the treasury. We are now starting to build that resource. So, when you hire a builder to build your house, you can tell within the first 1 week, you can tell whether this is a good builder or a bad builder. You go to the construction site with all materials available. You find people are not building. Then you start wondering whether you have hired a good builder or not. But if you go to a construction site, very few building materials, or even no building material, but at least you find this person is doing something, maybe he's planting trees or is doing what, then know that you have hired a good person. Zambians in 2021 hired a good person. We might be finding a lot of challenges. We might be facing challenges, but that doesn't mean that the builder they hired in 2021 is not doing anything. Zambians, when they go outside them, they can tell you that yes, we have seen some improvements. Not all is lost. Not all is bad. There is hope among Zambians. The economic fundamentals are being rebuilt.
Okay.
Yes. Our goodwill internationally is being rebuilt. And I think we have reached there, where now the international community can look up to Zambia and say, Zambia, can you help us here? Africa, SADC can now look up to Zambia and say, Zambia, can you please help us create peace in your neighboring countries? Because they feel Zambia has that capacity now to do that. Okay. It's not easy to bring the whole world together. To hold the democratic summit here, the second democratic summit here in Zambia. It is not an easy thing. For somebody, for the USA and other democratic countries to suggest that Zambia can you host this democratic summit, it means you have created enough positive credentials globally.
Okay.
Okay. Look at how many Zambians now are holding international positions. We are now pushing that COVID now becomes the interpresident. And Africa has agreed. It is because you have built enough credentials. And as a country, we are building our credentials. Economic, social, health, and everything. And we are sure that Zambians are seeing all that. They are seeing the credentials that are being built. The economic foundation is getting strong.
Okay.
Fundamentals are being put where they're supposed to put. Correct fundamentals, not wrong fundamentals, but correct fundamentals are being placed where they're supposed to be placed. Very soon, you and I will agree. You will agree with me that things have drastically improved. The mining, the conglomerates, the big mining companies are coming back into the country. The mining companies that had wanted to leave, actually most of them had even left. They had stopped recapitalizing their investments in this country.
Okay.
But now they are recapitalizing. It means that there is something they are seeing that is finally working in this country, and they are happy to be part of it. And Zambians are happy to be part of the builder they hired in 2021.
Okay.
He has only done 2 years. You have rightly said he's remaining with 1 year, 6 months.
1 year, 6 months.
Yes. So within 2 years, he has created enough ground on which for the next 1 year, 6 months, he can now start saying, okay, now I'm putting the other brick. We have been putting the foundation. You don't build a house without a foundation, otherwise it will crumble. So we have put the foundation that needed to be put. Now we are starting to put the blocks. This 1 year, 6 months, we'll put the blocks. And we know that Zambians will allow us, once the house gets to the window level, they'll give us another mandate so that we put the roof. Because usually most people would rather they have got somebody who builds the main structure and bring somebody else to come and put the roof. But with Zambians, I can assure you that they are going to give us the mandate to put the roof as well.
Okay. Mr. Katambo, let me thank you more sincerely for coming through to Camnet Breakfast Program and for discussing pertinent issues with us. We are not yet done with you. We'll continue calling you so that you continue updating us on what your party in government is currently doing.
We are Mr. Jota Hela, Smart, my cousin. We are very happy that Camnet finds time to invite not only opposition political parties, but also people from the ruling party, including government officials, so that we can have this discourse. You know, we need to discuss. We are one people. You put your head, I put my head, somebody else puts their head. We are creating a strong foundation. We are creating a strong Zambia. So we are hoping that with this platform that Camnet is creating, it will continue giving us unbiased coverage so that Zambians can also know what their government is doing. Zambians can also know what their ruling party is doing. Do not be a pro-critic. Okay? We have seen some media houses that Sunday to Sunday they are criticizing the government. But we need a position, we need a platform.
Do they not give, isn't that analyze the government, what government is doing?
Yeah.
From Sunday to Sunday, analyzing what government is doing.
Allow the government to respond. Don't just criticize. We know there are two different things here. There's critiquing and criticizing. But if you're going to spend from Sunday at 6 hours until Saturday when you sleep, 21 hours, criticizing the government, what time are you giving them to respond? Give them a chance to provide responses. Okay? If it is about maize, what is the government? Don't just say, no, there's no maize. No. The government has said there's 72,000 bags of maize at each Samba depot. You, the foreign, no, government is lying. But you asked for a position and the government has given you a position. Why should your position be the correct one and not the government position? Why should Zambians only respect your position as the opposition and not the government position? So give the government also a benefit of the doubt. When you say this is not happening and the government responds, give them a benefit of the doubt. Okay. But you have seen some people that want to just criticize the government from Sunday to Sunday, January to December.
Mr. Katambo, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We pride ourselves as an equal opportunity giver from both the ruling and the opposition. So the platform is always here, and thank you, the viewer out there. We go on this particular story where bus drivers at Lusaka's Kulimatawa bus station have held government for maintaining fuel pump prices for the month of April 2024. We go on this particular clip. When we come back, we continue with Camnet Breakfast Show. Stay tuned.
Fuel prices hold a pivotal role in the daily operations of motorists across the nation, particularly for those in the transportation sector, where fuel is the lifeblood of their business.
I want to say thank you for ARB. They've maintained that one. But to be honest, going forward, we want to see a situation where maybe 3 months they maintain the same price. That in 3 months, so the other thing also, our expectation, we expect, I think, with the debt restructuring, obviously we expect the fuel to go down. Otherwise, sometimes plan because in 3 months or 2 months or 4 months, somebody can plan and say, okay, I think within 3 months or it will be the benefit.
The Energy Regulation Board ERB on Sunday 31st March 2024 announced that fuel prices would remain unchanged for April 2024. This decision was attributed to positive indicators in both international fuel prices and the local currency exchange rate.
No, we are very grateful that the fuel pump prices have been maintained. But I think going forward, we're looking really forward to see to it that the government lowers the price of fuel so as to maintain our economic runnings. So with the debt restructuring, actually, this is really giving us confidence to say the government probably going forward should look into it and see to it that the fuel pump price is reduced to something to prices that are affordable. Also, in terms of reviews, the government should come up with a strategy. These monthly reviews are really hampering us.
However, amidst the appreciation for the government's decision, there are calls for a more frequent review of fuel prices.
Don't expect very fuel. The government now implement Zambo each and every month. So that I expect for 3 months, but just at least 3 months, 4 months, so that as drivers in Kulimatawa we are able to withstand the balancing of reduction of increasing. Even the debt restructuring, I think is a good way also. We are waiting for the government to go ahead with that debt restructuring because it will also help us in one way or another of reducing the pump price.
As bus drivers navigate the challenges of operating amidst fluctuating fuel prices, they remain hopeful for measures that offer greater stability in the months ahead. Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Okay, so obviously those that's a story that was carried out, and those are bus drivers at Lusaka's Kulimatawa bus station talking or expressing their views regarding the maintained fuel pump prices for the month of April. Let's get into another story where advocates for national development and democracy, ANDD Executive Director Samuel Banda, has urged government through the Ministry or small and medium enterprises development to consider introducing incentives for the small and medium business owners. We do have a clip. Let's take a look.
Small and medium enterprise or SMEs serve as the cornerstone of economic growth, contributing significantly to job creation, innovation, and overall prosperity. These enterprises, often run by dedicated entrepreneurs with ambitions, visions, play a vital role in sustaining local economics and fostering community development. Despite their significance, SMEs face numerous challenges ranging from limited access to finances, resources to regulate hurdles, and insufficiency deficiencies. Tom Jovu, who runs a peanut butter business in Lusaka, Soweto market, is pleased with the ministry's initiative to harness power of collaboration, which will foster SMEs cooperative for sustainable and economic growth. Mr. Njovu highlights the challenges and his expectations from the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise.
Munjira yamene tingaguliremo shawa makamaka financial help yakuti tapeza kukandrama kakuti tagulako pamene tifuna koma ma equipments naye vyaliko though they are not up to standard kuti tipange tifike pa international market tipange kulinganiza na amene bapangira benangu amakampani akulu.
Recognizing the pivotal role of SMEs, Advocate for National Development and Democracy, Executive Director Samuel Banda has called on government to consider giving the small and medium business owners incentives.
What the government needs to do is that they must ensure that they give incentives to cushion the impact of load shedding on these SMEs. For example, government can use the economic citizens empowerment ship to give a certain incentive just to cushion on the loss of revenue.
Mr. Banda emphasizes the need for tailored policies and intervention to support SMEs.
It is very important the government, through the Ministry of SMEs, come up with deliberate policies to empower our local SMEs and also to create a conducive environment for them to grow. Now, with these economic factors, load shedding, depreciation of the kwacha, these factors are hindering the growth of SMEs. For example,
the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise is set to run a national endeavor for SMEs. The platform is meant to enhance the exchange of ideas and knowledge among the small and medium business owners. Prudence Chiwe for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed.
Okay, thank you so much for still joining us. Now that was a story obviously of the ANDD Executive Director, Mr. Samuel Banda. They are talking about the SMEs. Now we get into the second session of our interview this particular morning, where we feature, he is a former minister, former member of parliament, and I am talking about Honorable Gaston Chilima, an MMD member and enthusiast. Good to see you, Honorable, and good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Pant Mata. We're grateful to be back home. It's really overwhelming to see some of the fruits of MMD appearing, especially when we opened up the airwaves. You're talking about the media.
Yes.
And now we are enjoying, and I'm sure viewers will agree with me that information is key.
Okay, I like to call you the mothers of democracy. However, your party itself seems to be under threat from individuals amongst itself. Now, let's begin. There are some reports in the media, Honorable, suggesting that the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, the MMD, has embarked on a journey to change its name. Let's get it from you as a member.
Well, first and foremost, you are right that I've been a member of MMD. We're looking at from time of inception.
Yes.
I've been a member. Yes, we are mother of democracy. It's very, very exciting journey. But please allow me to just extend the condolences to one of our son of the soil, Mr. Michael Mundashi, who went to be with the Lord State Council. My condolences to the family, the wife, Bibi, the Mundashi family, and indeed, I would say the lawyers, Fraternity Law Association of Zambia has been very, very active. He went to be with the Lord, and we are in this grief, so we joined them. MMD, it's also good to wish all the members happy Easter, just coming from there. It's a very organized, or rather was organized to date, party. First is a constitution. And from time of inception, anybody that crossed paths with the constitution had it rough, in the sense that we experienced, if you remember very well, the third term. The third term was not just for the national constitution, it was also for at party level. People objected it. Now the same constitution, one of it that we really take it very seriously. I'll give you an example. No matter what level, from branch to the top, and I'm saying the top neck, we follow it to the latter. At branch level, in some other forum, I was even giving an example of a branch at Soweto, when we had a branch there at Soweto. It's still there. When it came to elections, you won't believe it, it took us 2 days. Into the third day, that's when we were announcing results. What am I saying? This is how serious the members took democracy. Even as I speak to you today, if I go to contest at branch level, I'll be subjected to it. That I'll have to campaign and convince people at branch level to the reason why they must vote me. And it went up from a branch, it went to constituencies, it went to the province, and it actually goes up to the neck. Yes, so neck is a, I would say, a springboard. But even when it is a springboard, it has no mandate, for instance, to change the name. The name is a constitutional matter. If you want to change the name, it's a constitutional matter. If you want to extend the tenure of the leaders there, it's again the constitutional matter. It has to, you have to go to the convention, and when you are at the convention there, somebody among the delegates need to propose that it be seconded and subjected to voting. And when that happens, that is the only springboard that can actually change. Yes. So when you look at the tenure of office, it's Article 40. I'll pick the top one, the president, which is aligned even to the lower organs. It is only 5 years tenure, and each time after 5 years you need to go and get fresh mandate.
We haven't seen that from them, MD.
It hasn't been, and this is why
was the constitution amended?
You've seen these frictions. I can't say quarrels. These frictions that we've had from 2016. It is based on reaping and not following the constitution. All the presidency, President Chiluba, President Mwanawansa, President Lupia Banda, were all subjected to elections, including Dr. Mumba.
Okay.
In the case of Dr. Mumba, he was voted in 2012. From nowhere, these things changed in when we started arguing about it, going to the convention. And even as we are speaking, you might have heard, I won't go much in details, the issues of us going to court. It was all based on the constitution.
Okay.
When our friends won in that judgment of Judge Newa, clearly they had no powers to suspend anybody. Whatever they were doing was wrong, but of course they won the matter and were taken back, ushered into office, and everybody expected that the right thing would be done. Now, when the tenure came in that we need to go to the convention, and this is very, very interesting. It's not to mention names, but you know, when you rise to a certain portfolio, your name, you cannot run away.
Okay.
The people like Tobias Malich, Honorable Mbola Kolima, and a few others, Ambassador Moabi and all that, they all now said, no, we need to go and seek the mandate.
Okay.
Including Honorable Nakachinda. Then he wasn't honorable. There was these differences of understanding about they are the ones now that came up on board and said, no, there is need for us to go to the convention.
Okay, which year was this?
This was 2016.
2016, okay.
So the convention was fought, it was to and fro until the convention was taken. We went to the convention. Surprisingly, our colleague, Dr. Nevas Mumba, didn't go to contest. But we went and we came out, Honorable Mutati emerged to be the president of the party.
In 2016?
In 2016. So the other group went to court. And we have been in court. We had been in court for 3 years until that judgment was passed. Dr. Nevas Mumba and the team won. Fine, they went into office. Now we are talking of the second term to make 10 years, because that's what our constitution says. It's only 10 years when you are the president. Again, here I wanted to emphasize, it's not that we don't like Dr. Mumba. We are talking to the constitution.
Okay.
And when you go to be a president of the MMD, you must follow the guidelines of the constitution. We are very different from some of these other political parties. Again, something that I don't normally forget and I want to mention here. MMD is not owned by anybody.
Okay.
It is a national party owned by the members from grassroots. So when you finish 10 years, you pave way. You go to the convention. The grassroots, which we call intra-party elections, starts. Because these are the ones that are going to choose a president at the convention and the NEC. Because they have a mandate. The branches will choose the constituency will choose the province. And that's where you get the delegates. And the electoral college comes out from there. This, all of us, we know. In these differences at some point, I even have a recording to date. My colleague, Honorable Ichitika, even actually natured me, thought we were jumping. But in the MMD constitution, you don't jump. You go to the grassroots, and those are the ones that goes to voting. Not to forget, we are even surprised some of the Mingalatos that would want even to be done like right now, because even the grassroots is well aware of the constitution. Our colleagues attempted, if they are not attempting, in the name of wanting to change the name, they are attempting to go to the provinces and go and start choosing people that will be contesting in the coming elections, and maybe hoping that our colleague, Honorable His Honor, former Vice President Dr. Nevas Mumba would go to contest. It doesn't work that way. Because even them at the grassroots, they asked, why are we choosing people that would be interested to come and contest elections? Who are going to choose them? Because we start from the lower organ. Article 38 clearly states how leaders are supposed to be picked in MMD. So there is no argument. So I'm trying to explain all this.
So for the past 10 years, Honorable, the constitution of the MMD hasn't changed, and in this case, are we saying it hasn't been amended in any way? So it still stands.
It still stands, and nobody has powers to change that constitution. Not even the NEC. It is when you go to the convention, in an event where you say, look, we didn't do well because of such and such a clause. But of course, there is a legal team that sits there. It doesn't stop members to go and consult outside the party level and bring it to the convention. When the proposal is made and changed, nobody can change it until you go back to the convention. It's the same thing. As I speak now, anybody that emerges to be a winner from that convention, whether you like him or not, you have no powers to remove that person.
Okay.
So the constitution is still intact. The issue of changing the names doesn't even arise. As far as we're concerned, go to the grassroots, you find MMD Nipankoroko, and the hour has come. Now I want also to say, the hour didn't just come that time. Remember, the hour has come. MMD was a movement. When it was changed to a party, the hour came. We lost the power. We brought in Dr. Nevas Mumba, the hour still came. But the hour also comes in when you finish your term.
Okay.
Because you need to go to the people, speak to them. Why is it that you want to be voted in second time?
Okay. So
now that hasn't happened.
So Honorable, let me just get it from you for the sake of my viewers out there. The current president, party president of the MMD, has his tenure come to an end? Has he served 2 terms?
It ended in 2022.
Okay.
Okay. But there are this argument of saying, no, that is now, I'm talking about internal. It's not anywhere, and you cannot even quote any clause in the constitution. The argument with our colleagues were, no, Mr. Mtati wasted my time. I spent 3 years, so I need to cover up 3 years. So even those 2 arguments of the first tenure of 10 years went. The second one has ended this April. This April, according to the calendar of MMD, which maybe probably we've never done, we could have actually done the former president going, and we got voting another one. Who knows, we could have even been honoring him this time around. And this is why we are saying there's no hatred. We are following the constitution.
Okay.
But at the national level, for instance, the current government, I'm bringing in the current government, if they want to embrace the current, Dr. Mumba, they can only embrace him as a former vice president. If it's the job they want to give him, that's different. But in his democratic rights, if he so wishes to join UPND on an individual basis, we again have no argument.
Are there any signs, symptoms suggesting that maybe the current president of the MMD would like to defect to the ruling UPND? You're a veteran politician, Honorable. Have you seen any signs suggesting?
Signs can be there, but like I'm saying, I cannot question his democratic right.
Okay.
But the question that we've had, we are very, very civil. You haven't heard in MMD as fighting, throwing stones, and what. We are very, very civil. Because we are democratic, we have followed all the procedures. The previous government, we wrote to them, of course, on the different matters. The current government, we have written, even at the party level, we have written the National Secretary of UPND, we have written the Minister of Home Affairs, We have written a registrar of societies. I'm bringing registrar of societies because they are under this new dawn. Registrar of societies to follow. Now, when we look around and why we've been writing, and the big question, why I've brought in Embracing of Dr. Mumba, why is it that out of all clubs that are registered with the Register of Societies, it's in only MMD where they are watching somebody reaping the constitution? For instance, they should ask us, why haven't we ever had the intra-party elections? That's the job of Register of Societies. We have written to them. Why is it that we have gone beyond 10 years? It's the job of Register of Society to whip us. Of which, if we don't do, according to the Act, at the Register of Societies, they are supposed to question us. If you don't follow these rules, Register of Societies need to come in. And don't forget that the Register of Societies recently announced that all political parties who haven't gone to the convention will face the wrath of being deregistered, and they gave an ultimatum of 60 days, of which we wrote, us in MMD, we wrote 60 days is not enough because of our constitution, which the Register of Societies is a custodian. Okay? Now, in there, the Minister of Information also comes in and says, yes, this is now the chance of all those political parties over the kangaroo conventions. They need to actually, the argument we've had, there have been kangaroo kind of arrangement, and people want to vote in. But that is what are now under the bridge. Because the tenure that we've been arguing about is over. So now it's a question of just following the constitution and say, we go to the convention. And I want to say, as MMD and following, it's not me saying, I'm not giving directives here. We are following the constitution. It says after 10 years, after 5 years, you go to the convention. Now 10 years is over. In this case, Dr. Mumba is not eligible when we go to the convention because he has served 10 years. That is Article 40. Clause 1. The rest, all of us in MMD, regardless of what, we are eligible. But eligibility is dependent on intra-party elections. If I go at a province, for instance, and they don't vote me at a province, I'm not a delegate. But again, clause 38 explains on how you vote leaders. I can be out of the convention and not be a delegate, but I can have agency to go and stand in on my name if I contest. We've had several examples, and the people have emerged, like bounce back, maybe even at neck level, and yet at the province they were rejected. What I'm saying is everybody is eligible. Yes.
Everybody is eligible
except Dr. Mumba, who has served as a president.
I think the MMD issue is clear, Honorable, unless if we've left any grey areas.
Well, some of it that I want to say, to emphasize that this is the time that we need to get united. And I want to mention to the nation, because even when I'm here, people think, why is this talking about? Maybe it doesn't like.
So there's no enmity.
There's no enmity. All of us now, and I want to mention, in case there are some, lack of better words, some disciples who are still following, but we know they are not there. We are working with Tobias Malicha and all provincial chair ladies. For today only, I will use that were with Dr. Mumba, those that were Honorable Mutati, those who were with the Honorable Nakachinda. Well, now in brackets they are saying Abakwas Chima. There is nothing like Abakwas Chima.
So the numbers are with you now.
Exactly. And all they're asking me, I'm just a voice. And I'm glad now you've asked that question. I'm just a voice. Let me make it very, very clear.
You want the correct
I am not the president. I'm speaking on behalf of this group. But shortly, we are waiting now for the team that is going to sit down and look at the roadmap, of which if you fail to do, Registrar of Societies has powers to even deregister.
So
but we are still there in the game. We are saying,
the MMDs at risk of being
I want to call on Madam Chitika, who is coordination secretary. Regardless of where we are coming from, she needs to show now leadership. My appeal, let her call for the meeting where it is inclusive and we discuss the way forward. We don't know what is their fear. For instance, Madam Chitika has been there. She has been a Kaomba member of parliament. I'm not campaigning for her, but it's a reality. And why not maybe sometimes even have a woman president for the first time in MMD? And indeed others. So when I'm calling on Madam Chitika, I'm calling on everybody that is served under MMD at different levels, either ministers or chairmen and whatever, to come forward. What we're looking for is a president. And this that could have been serving and their mandate is over. They need to go and get a fresh mandate. Everybody that we have to date, we have all appointed. MMD doesn't appoint. Even when you elect the president at the convention, yes, he will have few slots to appoint, rather nominate. But even when he nominates, it is now NEC to ratify.
Okay.
Yes, but that is after coming from the convention.
Okay. Your last words in 30 seconds, Honorable. We need to go.
Okay. I want to appeal. Like I said, whether we want it or not, there is new dawn government. I've seen our colleagues when we mention, for instance, UPND and whatever. Right now, as an individual, that's what we believe in MMD. Okay. I'm not probably even the right person to do checks and balances, but because I've served in government,
you are a veteran politician.
I'm saying, one, let's make peace.
Okay.
Because we are all angered and we are making decisions out of emotions. Why should people be macheting themselves now? The elections are in 2026. The campaign was in 2021. What our friends need to do, I don't want to use the word that some people have been punished, but when you use the language in the campaign and you come to realize that these are not some of the truth that is a reality now that you are in government, you need to have a team that needs to look at that. How do you reverse it? That's why there is a party that will come now with promises to say, we will do this according, it is a write-up. You need to have a team also to look at the write-up. So they need to be checking and ticking, what is it that we've corrected? Here, we didn't tell the people the truth, now we are going to do ABCD. This comes even in, I want to mention about, for instance, load shedding in very, very quick.
Okay.
Even load shedding, all they needed to do is prepare the mindset of the Zambians. I was at energy. Let me say this, which I think even Zesco fails to say. But I want to tell you the reality. When we were doing the hydropower station at Kariba and installing the turbines, we put it at a higher level than the turbines across Zimbabwe.
Okay.
That means our volume of water to be used at any given time when we have water is closer to the upper. Simple thing. The water level is there. Our turbines is there. We can use water up to a certain level. Whether we want it or not, we cannot design anything. The friends now, our friends across, because the turbines are lower, they still have a lot of water. Even this issue of load shedding, we weren't even during our time, we agreed, but I want to mention to say, look, it's an agreement in the region where one, we make money out of transportation. With these cables that you see crossing the borders, we make money out of transportation. For instance, if you import from Congo and South Africa or Zimbabwe once, you charge, you make money. Two, we export and we make a lot of money. Now, when we are exporting, it is at the time when we are generating and we've got a lot of water. Energy cannot be stored. When you generate, you must find a source to make it usable. For instance, if we are only using 2,800 megawatts and we are producing 7,000 megawatts, what do you do with the balance? You sell, isn't it?
Yes,
so that particular time when we are making money, I don't want to go in, I'm not an economist now to start talking about it when somebody asks me, what did we do with the money that we collect? For me, in layman's language, I would say the money we are making when we have a lot of water and exporting should be the money now that we need to come and sit down and say, okay, now we have got deficit.
What do we do?
We can use that reserve money and we buy and bring it. But of course, load shedding is uncalled for. A load shedding is something that we can explain to the people, ration, and when we explain to the people, my brothers, nephews, nieces, and all those colleagues of mine in engineering sector, welding, in the Kalingalinga garden and elsewhere, the barber shops, the saloons, they need now to start contacting their customers. Come after 17 hours when you knock off, because then we'll have power. Because I can tell you, fuel is expensive. In my small genset, I'm using 25 liters per day, diesel, if you have 8 hours load shedding. But I cannot manage.
Honorable, we still have load shedding with us. We haven't been told when it's going to end. So we'll continue calling upon you, Honorable, and saying that you spent your time at the Ministry of Energy. So obviously, we'll need to bring you and give you enough time to explain the nitty-gritties about load shedding. But for now, let me thank you, Honorable, for coming through.
Thank you very much. You said last in 2 minutes. My brother, the President Commander-in-Chief, Double HH, you are the President. You are the only one, anyone
that's your camera right there,
in this country can appeal to. Bury everything else, but I'm saying you plant a seed so that even when time comes in, you're living, whether it's 5 years or 10 years thereafter, you're a Zambian, you need to be a statesman and be looked after. Because then you will have every reason to stop anybody that will come in wanting to follow you. You need to come and enjoy your peace thereafter. That is only personal, including your team now, that you would actually go with. And the UPND continues to look after you, and Zambians will look after you. Bury everything, all differences, all what was happening, and everybody, we are all looking up to you. I've said we are looking up to you. I thank you, and may God bless you.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable, for that peaceful note. I think peace is all that we need, obviously, everywhere in the world. Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so there you have it. That was veteran politician, former cabinet minister, former MP, who wears so many hats, Honorable Gaston Chilima, making an appearance on the breakfast show. At that time always flies when you're having a good conversation. However, everything that goes up must come down. We need to go. On behalf of my director, Mr. Isaac Chifita, and of course the entire production team, and of course my guests that joined me on this particular program. I have been your host, Joe Smarter is my name. We'll see you next time, same time, same place. Good morning.